Hey guys, and welcome to a Noob's Guide to Dark Souls. It's been a very long time, hasn't it? Yeah, I'm just showing you the login process so I can get a little more talking edgewise. I'm sorry it's been so long. I've actually been kind of preparing for like college and stuff. So, yeah, that's taken up a decent amount of time. Though I'll be honest with you, I've still had free time enough to be streaming or just playing video games. But I haven't felt like recording, and I don't really know why. But you know, it happens. During that time, I was actually training a little bit, getting used to the next area that we have to play in a Noob's Guide to Dark Souls. And I know what the next area is. It's still going to be a little difficult for me, simply because I think it's one of the more difficult areas in the game. Not that this game isn't difficult, but, you know. Alright. So we need to head all the way back to the parish with Andre. Which I could have warped there now that I think about it, because we do actually have the Lord Vessel, but, you know. Not a big deal. Alright, just looking at our gear here. Got some good stuff. Alright, at this point I'm basically going to forego co-op and online play. Simply because this is a noob's guide, and I've already kind of talked a lot about the online aspect of this game. So from now on we're definitely just going to be focusing on the PvE aspect. So what do you guys think? I'm really excited about Dark Souls 2. I think it should be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. A lot harder than Dark Souls, I think, just in terms of the fact that the combat is super deep like this is, and so I think it's going to be difficult to get the hang of, but once you do, it's going to be real easy. So that should be pretty good. Alright, so once here at the parish, just visit the bonfire real quick. You're actually going to want to head back into the forest. A little bit strange, I know, but it is where our next destination lies. And of course, I will be showing the dexterity strategy guide to all the bosses that we encounter. I will still be doing that. Alright. Yay! Easy to kill them. Some booming purple moss. The forest is pretty easy. Or at least the entrance to it is. I find a lot of the forest that we haven't explored yet that we will be exploring later. I find that place to be pretty hard. There's even some of it that I'm not even going to touch because they're hard. The enemies, and so I don't want to subject myself to that kind of stuff. And plus, because you don't have to kill them. So I think that's cool. There we are. More blooming purple moss, huh? It's the rarest kind of drop you can get from these guys. We don't even have any humanity or the gold serpent ring equipped. Alright. If you want, you can rest at this bonfire. I'm going to. If you have confidence in your ability to fight this next boss, you can. But I don't have the most confidence. In fact, I picture myself dying a few times trying to do this boss, simply because it's been a while since I fought this particular one with a strength build. So I'm not at all used to the style. Alright, first things first. Come over here and you can see an ambush. However, pick up the item, Large Silva Nameless Soldier. And you get the item. These guys are relatively easy. Only really hard if you don't know that they're coming, or if you don't have a lot of like vitality in total. Moss. It is always nice to stock up on those kind of things, just in case, because during New Game Plus, I mean, you're not always going to think about, or New Game, you're not always going to think about that kind of stuff, you know? Alright, so welcome to this area of the forest. As you can see, there are rather interesting enemies lying on the ground here, and again, they'll start standing. These are stone knights. They are extremely strong, very powerful. They can also cast a spell called Tranquil Walk of Peace, which, if you're in the area of the spell and they actually hit you, with the spell. Or it's a miracle, I'm sorry. And you can see a little ambush right here. If you're actually in the vicinity of the spell when it hits, your speed is lowered. It's not permanent, but you're basically walking. Or not even basically about it. Ow. Wow, you break a lot of poise. Okay, this armor's actually a lot better than I gave it credit for. Thought I was gonna have a lot more trouble with this than I am. Whew, close. Alright. And over here you see the Elite Knight set. A lot of people like this armor, and for good reason. And for a long time it had really high poise. Maybe not really high, I mean it didn't have the amount of poise that we have now. And that's the Strength Walk of Peace, by the way. See, now we're forced to walk. Kill him, however. Oh, come on. Kill him and it'll dissipate. Or it'll just dissipate after a certain amount of time. However, you definitely want to kill him. So Elite Knight armor, I think it looks pretty cool. Now, however, there was a patch, actually a long time ago, where the Elite Knight armor has the same exact poise as the regular armor of the starting class of Knight. If you come over here and you're human, there should be an NPC summon sign right here for an NPC called Witch Beatrice. She's very good for this boss fight if you have trouble with it. I highly recommend her. I am not human simply because, again, I don't want to be invaded. This is a noob's guide. I'm offline Steam, but I'm online Dark Souls when Games Windows Live, so there you go. Just come up here and go through here. And meet the Moonlight Butterfly. Pretty interesting boss. Kinda unique in one aspect, but not so much in another. As you can see, the Moonlight Butterfly will spend most of its time in the air, so that's definitely one reason why I recommend the Witch Beatrice, because she'll shoot spells at it and you can just kind of tank. Don't be alarmed though, the Moonlight Butterfly will come down eventually. So as you can see, the Moonlight Butterfly uses an array of certain spells. For that beam spell, the best thing to do is get out of the way, so keep backing up. As you can see, our shield blocks a decent amount of magic damage, so we'll just have to heal every now and then. Most of its attacks are not that powerful if you block through them. They'll do a decent amount of damage, but most of them you can actually move out of the way of. Like that, you can use the wall there to kind of break it. Break the spell, I mean. There is one spell where it's magic in a clump. I'm wondering if we're gonna see it. This. It does actually a lot of damage. Like, it'll break your guard real quick. So one thing that you definitely want to do is actually try to dodge to avoid it. You can do it even with the fat roll, as I've just shown there. But real quick, this is the most important. Once the Moonlight Butterfly lands, start going crazy on it. As you can see, you can do a lot of damage. And as soon as you get magic or stamina back, you can pretty much kill it. With a plus 15 Zoihanda, this is a really easy fight. And I'll talk about what his soul does in a moment. Basically what you want to do for that giant clump of energy is you want to try to dodge out of the way. Now it's simpler. Wow, my voice cracked. Sorry about that. It's kind of early. I've only been awake for about an hour, and my throat's been feeling kind of weird. I wonder if I'm getting sick, actually. But, it's simpler if you have light armor and if you're flipping, but it's a different timing. So you definitely want to try to do that. I'll be showing the dexterity version of that in a moment. And you can see the Watchtower Basement Key and the Divine Ember and a Homer Bone. What we really want, though, is the Divine Ember. And also one thing about the Moonlight Butterfly is you can block that one big blob attack. However, I don't recommend it simply because it does a lot of stamina damage and you'll take a lot of damage, so you probably have to heal afterward no matter what. You can do it, and if you don't feel confident rolling, then I recommend it. Don't just sit there and take it. You'll probably die. Oops, didn't mean to remove that, but meh. Am I human? I'm not, right? Yeah, okay, I'm not. Hi.
My, that's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith.
Can you use it?
Might you consider leaving that with me?
Of course, Andre.
To produce divine weapons with a flame such as that.
But of course, my friend.
Well, Thanks for that. You've made a fine decision. You soon shall see.
Alright. Then let us... Actually,
Oi!
we now have access to divine weapons, which is exactly what we want. Divine weapons are... They scale more with faith. They won't do as much damage as a regular weapon, but they're going to scale a lot with faith, which I think is pretty cool. So we want something like... I usually choose the longsword. I've chosen the broadsword before. Because we actually need a divine weapon. And in order to upgrade to a divine weapon, you need both the divine ember and green titanite shards. So let's go down here and modify our weapon. Oops. Ah, yes.
Show me that ember of yours. Well, I've never heard of a black ember. How about leaving that ember with me? I find it strangely fascinating.
Oh crap, he's going over to the dark.
Yes. Well, thank you. This ember really is something special. I'm already under its spell. I sense great potential indeed.
Wow, that's scary. I've actually never heard him say that before. Okay. So let us... Okay, then it must be... Oh, yes, I had forgotten this. In order to get a divine weapon, I think it has to be like plus 10 or something like that. So let's reinforce our weapon. I'm not sure how many large shards we have, but that can actually prove a problem. Okay, we have 2. But as you can see, like, we have a... There we go, okay. So you have to be plus 6 to be able to, or at least plus 5 to be able to get a divine weapon. I was wondering because we could get a divine tower shield. So let's upgrade it to divine. And I will be discussing more about why we're actually getting a divine weapon as we move into the next area. However, right now I don't find it prudent. Just simple as that. Alright, we now have a plus 5.
Don't get yourself killed.
I won't, Andre.
Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Thank you, friend. However, we will need to equip this. It's going to be very important coming up. And it appears I have a few things to sort. I think I'll actually try my... Where is it? Pyromancy Flame on this hand. Alright, I'm just going to put some things away real quick. Not that big of a deal. Just help sort out my inventory. So that I can access things a little more quickly. Zwehanda. I can see we've already fought Havel. I don't remember exactly who we'd fought. Though I can obviously give you a good guess. Just depending on where we are. Balder Shield, Pierce Shield, Gargoyle Shield. Alright. Now what we're going to want to do is warp on off to Firelink. Because we actually want to use our souls to upgrade our Pyromancy Flame. Alright. Sup, Laurentius?
Oh, hello there. I'm pleased to see you safe.
Thanks, friend.
As always, if you provide the materials, I can teach you pyromancy.
You alright, man? You don't sound... You sound a little off. Alright.
Goodbye then. Come.
Just make sure we rested at the bonfire. Yeah, we hadn't. Alright. So, with this long sword in hand, let us head on off. We're going to be heading down to the catacombs next, and for those of you who have played this game before, you know what that means. Oh, that was weird. There's a person standing there and it made Petrus look all ghosty. So yes, the catacombs. This is the most common... This is probably the most commonly mistaken place. Or second most commonly mistaken place for the first place you should be going in Dark Souls. You just head down here. And we went down here at the beginning of the game when we first got these materials. You're going to want to come down here. And you're going to see these skeletons. Now, I want to demonstrate something. With our Zuihanda, you can see that we destroy them very easily. They're quite weak. Their main strength is they have strength in numbers. But, as they're going to be demonstrating for us here after a few moments, their other greatest strength is that they can regenerate their bodies after being killed. And this poses quite a problem for the new player and for the for any player really coming down here. Come on, you gotta regenerate. I know they will. Maybe it just takes a little longer. Oh well, we'll come over here and get this if we haven't already. Should be a Silva Lost and Dead. And then I kind of want to show you the difference. You can see that our longsword really doesn't do a lot of damage. But thankfully, because we have a lot of poise, we can kind of just tank their hits. They should be coming back. I know they should. Perhaps the guys up top don't come back. Okay. Well, let's head deeper into the rabbit hole. I apologize for that. Large Silva Lost and Dead. Coming up here, apparently since these guys don't respawn, we can just do this. As you can see, the weapons inflict a bleed, which is definitely something that you want to have to watch out for. Because in groups, and they're almost always going to be in groups of like 4 or 5, oh my gosh, they can bleed you out so quick. It's scary. So coming down here, you can see that it kind of starts to get dark down here, which is going to be a factor later on, not so much where we are now. The catacombs. So when you first come up, don't immediately go down to engage these guys. As you can see to the left, there are actually skulls down there that are kind of floating towards us. And when they do that pose, by the way, it means they want to parry you. And as you can see, those skulls explode and deal damage. We've already been through New Londo, so you already know about them, but I thought it was prudent to show you down here. There will always be 3. There you go. He just came back. The only way to permanently get rid of these guys is to either kick them off a cliff, which I know a lot of people like a German spy do in the beginning of the game when they're going for the Great Lord Covenant, or to kill them with a divine weapon. They will not come back. One thing you can also do, I like doing this, is if you're just trying to run past these guys, which I don't blame you, what you can actually do is allow the skulls to blow them to pieces, and actually blow the pieces off the cliff in some cases. So that's definitely something that you can do. Alright. Skeletons. And for those of you wondering why I'm not talking about one part of this area, that has to do with the skeletons, don't worry. I will be talking about that when that part of the game becomes available. So, most of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. Or, probably all of you. As you can see, the skeletons are more annoying than anything. However, when it comes to this, just progress fairly slowly. I mean, take your time. And then, when it comes to actually fighting the skeletons, take them out one by one. And you can also max out them for a pretty decent amount of damage. But your real target is down here. These are necromancers, and they are annoying. They're annoying for 2 reasons. 1, because they throw fire at you, and 2, because they are the reason that the skeletons in this area respawn. They will actually cause them to respawn just by being alive. So another thing that you can do to stop the skeletons from respawning is that you can kill the necromancer in that area, and the skeletons won't respawn. It's a more permanent solution, but for first coming here, you definitely want to have a divine weapon. Especially since it's not a real big deal. Alright. So you definitely want to push this switch. This will open the next area. Activate the next area. Definitely want to save our progress with that bonfire. So coming up here, you can see that. They're now killable. Well, not that they weren't killable before, but this is now permanent. This next area, a little bit tricky. So, because you can see, across there is a necromancer who will be throwing flame at you through his little lantern. So that can be a little bit annoying. But you can also see their skeletons up ahead. And these guys, while annoying in themselves, definitely like to gang up on you with the Necromancer's help. Excuse me, sorry about that. So again, just proceed slowly, and you definitely want to try to pull them back, because if you're out in the open like that, at a lower elevation, the Necromancer will definitely be hitting you. So, pull them back, and always try to be moving. Once you kill one, move on to the next. Like, literally move to the next. And of course, backstabbing is good because you have invincibility frames during it. And keep running. Move across this bridge, pull out your heavy weapon, and move directly towards the Necromancer and get the backstab off. I only recommend doing this if you have heavy armor, because that way you can actually take the hits of all these skeletons. Because they're actually going to be hitting you quite a lot before their Necromancer does. And you can see this guy actually trying to be annoying and do the parry animation. That's the only reason why we have pyromancies. Again, however, that will not permanently kill them if the Necromancer is alive. If you don't kill the Necromancer, he'll just continue running through the area. He'll like come up here, you can attack him here. Alright. There we are. Yeah, so basically he'll be coming. He'll be up here and then he'll run back. It's not a big deal. Also, I do want to warn you guys about one thing. For showing off the dexterity version of these bosses, I cannot show off the two bosses that we're going to be fighting in this video. I cannot show off a Moonlight Butterfly, simply because, well, I cannot do it with that one file that I've been showing you guys with, the ninja with the washing pole. And as you can see, their parries do literally no damage. It's almost worth just getting the hit so you can just kill them. And you see Lucerne. I'll show off Lucerne in a moment. But when I first got into a new game with that washing pole player, I just went and killed a bunch of easy bosses. So I killed Moonlight Butterfly, and I killed the first boss that we're going to be encountering here, that we're going to end the video off with. The boss that we're going to be ending the video off with is pretty pathetically easy, actually. So, I wouldn't, even if I could, I wouldn't do that anyway, because it's so easy. But, yeah, I'm sorry about that for Moonlight Butterfly. I'll show it with, like, probably just a base level player. Or not base level, but a very low level, you know. Even though that kind of level, I don't find Moonlight Butterfly to be very easy. Come now. You can see we got a little bit of soft humanity from the skeletons. And we're clearing this place out pretty good. Not a real big problem. Just wanted to make sure. What kind of poise are we rocking? Somewhere in the 80s? Oh, 119. Okay. Really, this part of the game is about a lot of exploring. There's a lot of different paths you can take to get to the same area. But yeah, I actually really like this place. It's really atmospheric, I mean, with all the graves and all that. And as you can see, we'll need to be flipping this bridge over. Ow. Oh, that actually blocked all of the damage. Careful when you pass by these statues. They actually shoot out spikes and can damage you. Usually I just run through it because as you can see, it's pretty negligible damage. But, of course, negligible damage adds up after a while. Alright, we're actually in a little bit of trouble here. Yes, we are, and there we go. An example of what happens when you get ganged up on. I'll meet you guys back here.